I'm going to give everybody just a few more minutes to join us. It looks like we have lots of people here. I'm so excited to see you. I hope you're excited to be here. I think that's everyone. Yeah, we have all of our scholars here, so welcome. Welcome to the first Saturday session of the Kentucky Leads Academy Cohort 1. Welcome. My name is Rebecca Atkins, and I will be providing the majority of how I'll support Kentucky Leads is through technology support. Maintaining a site that we're gonna share together. But today I'm going to help facilitate this meeting and keep us on track. Although the main focus of today is for us to connect, get to know each other, learn a little bit more about this grant and what it entails, and find out what we don't know, find out what questions we need to answer for you. And so, yeah, we'll move forward from there. Has everyone here had a chance to participate in a Teams meeting before, or is this your first Teams meeting? Put your hand up. Feel free to open your camera if you'd like, but you certainly don't have to. And you can use the chat box too. If this is your first team meeting, let me know. Oh, exciting. We've got a couple people who it's their first Teams meeting. Well, I'll point out a couple things. I'm going to share my screen just real quick, just so you can see a couple of the features that Teams has that we'll utilize today. Up at the very top of your screen, you'll see a little icon. If you click on that, it'll show you all the names of the participants. The little text message emoticon or feature that opens up the chat box. Feel free to use that chat box. This is my favorite feature of Teams. If you have a question, hover over the face and the hand and click on the raise hand button, and that will let us know that you have a question and you would like a turn to speak. It's pretty informal today, so don't worry. You don't have to use that raise your hand feature, but you're certainly more than welcome to. And then we don't have any breakout rooms, so we won't be using that. But the other three buttons on the top of the Teams screen, you can choose one way to view, which is like the together mode. It's kind of fun. It makes it actually look like we're in a Saturday seminar. So this is my favorite way to view. Hi, Bill. Love it. Okay, at this time now, I'm going to turn it over to Greta. Let me stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to turn it over to Greta Hilton. She's our Associate Commissioner with the Office of Special Education and Early Learning, and she is going to provide some opening remarks.
All right. Good morning. Thank you, Becca. So I'm going to be hopefully brief because it's more important for you to dig into the content than to hear from me. But I did just want to take a minute and say welcome to all of you that are in this cohort 1 for Kentucky Leads. As Becca said, my name is Greta Hilton, and I'm the associate for the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. And my role in this work is really to support you guys and all of the other staff at the Office of Special Education and Early Learning who are doing a fantastic job of getting this grant up and running. So just to give you a little background, when this, and I shared it yesterday with the advisory, so I'll share it again with you today because, it's either humorous or mind-boggling, one of the two, I don't know which. But when we first saw this grant come down in the pipeline from the Office of Special Education Programs from USED, I saw it. It was sent to us from our OSEP state contact, and I thought, what a fabulous way for us to do some work that aligns with some of the office goals for what we call OSIL. We had one of our goals was to recruit and retain high quality staff because everybody in the world knows that right now is a really difficult time to get educators, particularly special educators. And so it was a very timely grant, and I reached out to our contacts at the University of Kentucky and said, "Hey, let's write a grant. As if we don't have enough to do, in the world of education right now. Let's write a grant." Little did I know that just around the corner, the world was going to shut down, right? And so when we had our first planning meeting, and everybody was so energized, and I was so excited, we were going to write a grant, we were going to do all this fantastic work to recruit and retain high quality staff and create this network of excellence in the state. And then COVID hit, and I literally walked away from the work because everything at the leadership level of KD focused on how do we keep everyone safe and healthy and get on NTI. Those last few weeks of school when March happened, and I abandoned ship on this, not because I wanted to, but because I had to, and left it in the hands of Carolyn Morrison and Jonathan Compton and Mike Gable and Jeremy Pope, whom you'll hear from a little bit later today. And they did a fantastic job of writing this grant. Fast forward to the fall, because honestly, it wasn't on my mind through the summer because we all know what everybody in the world was thinking about over the summer. And then we received notice that we had indeed received the grant. So that was wonderful. Wonderful, very welcome news. And again, we were in the midst of how do we reopen schools. And so I then dropped it on Pete Heckner, whom you'll hear from a little bit later, and Thomas Williams, and Becca and Bill and others that you're going to hear from. And they have done a fantastic job of getting this up and running. I will say, though, that they have told me that the most difficult challenge that they've had to date was selecting the scholars, because there were nearly 4 times as many people as we could take. And I think all of those were superb quality, just high quality people. And unfortunately, we just couldn't take everybody because the grant didn't allow for that. So welcome to the cohort 1. And the one thing that I'm going to say is that I'm just honored and amazed at Kentucky educators, particularly Kentucky special educators, because in a time when the world is on its head and we don't know how we're going to get kids back safely, and if we're going to reopen or do hybrids, or if we're going to have virtual, or if we're going to have a little mix of everything, and it may all change next week. And we've all kind of gotten used to the normal is crazy, right? Like there is no normal right now. Everything is just so unexpected and unusual. And not only is it that way at work, but it's that way at home. And for you guys to submit applications to do more, become leaders, and I'm sure you're already leaders in your area, so I don't mean it in the way that it sounded, but to do more, to lead more, to take on more, to tackle more at this time, it's humbling, quite frankly. And I just want to say thank you for always being there and for having your heart in the right place, because we all know you're doing this for the kids. You're not doing it for the paycheck. It's not that great. There are many things you could do to be making more money, and we know that. So just know that I'm here to support anything that I can do. Feel free to reach out to me or any of the team that you're going to hear from today. So I'll stop there and see if you guys have any questions or comments for me. And feel free to open your mics or raise your hand however you would like to. But if no one has anything, then I'll turn it back over to Becca to move us on through the agenda. And thank you for taking a Saturday on top of everything else. Now you've dedicated Saturdays to this work. So either y'all are really dedicated or really crazy. One of the two.
Thank you, Greta. Is Mike Abel here today? Is Dr. Abel with us? Okay, so he I guess, is unable to join us today. Not a big deal. We're going to focus on the scholars now. And if you don't mind, I would like for everyone to take just a couple minutes to introduce yourself. Let's be a little organized with this. I'll call out your name. And when I call your name, if you'll please open your camera if you have it closed. And if you're in a place where you can open your camera. And introduce yourselves, that'd be great. We'll start with Andrea Stacy. Can Andrea please introduce herself?
Hi, I'm Andrea Stacy. I am a early childhood counselor in Jefferson County Public Schools, and I'm really excited about joining the Leeds Academy and starting the DOSE program at WKU.
Okay, I'm having some technical difficulties. I got kicked out for a minute, but I'm back now. Thank you, Andrea. Stacy, will you introduce yourself, Stacy Ligori?
Hello, I'm Stacy Ligori. I currently work at the Kentucky Department of Education, and I am really excited for this opportunity to become a leader in special education and for the opportunity to be part of the Leeds Academy. Thank you.
Great, welcome, Stacy. Next, we have Andrea Craig, another colleague of mine.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Andrea Craig. I also work within the Kentucky Department of Education. I'm very excited about this opportunity to further my knowledge and understanding and leadership abilities and skills in the Kentucky Leeds Academy for the great state of Kentucky. And I'm excited to get to know all of you throughout this cohort. So congratulations to everyone, and hopefully we have a good journey together.
Welcome, Andrea. Next, we have Joshua Long. Is Joshua with us today?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm a principal, South Edmonton. I'm currently in a Little League basketball game on the floor coaching 3 to 5 year olds.
Wow, Josh.
I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't know if you can see me or the floor or what. Principal, South Edmonton Elementary. Very excited.
Thank you, Josh. Next, we have Krista Middleton.
Hey, I'm trying. Okay, sorry, we're on the road. Krista Middleton. I'm a teacher consultant with special programs at Barron County, and I'm excited. I have my dose already, but through Western, I need my dose level 2, and so that led me to apply, and really excited. Thank you.
Welcome, Krista. Next, we have Stacy Hutchison. Oh, hi, Stacy. It looks like she says, hi, I don't know how to do this. No worries. Welcome. I'll touch base with you after the meeting and give you a little one-on-one team support. So don't worry. Welcome, Stacy. I'm happy that you're able to join us here. It's okay, Stacy. I'll find you. Next, we have Catherine Cooper.
Hi, I'm Katie Cooper. I currently work with the Greater Louisville Education Cooperative, or we call ourselves GLEC, and I am a low incidence and transition consultant for GLEC. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to participate in the Leeds Academy. Thank you.
Welcome, Katie. Abby is next, and I'm not sure, Abby, how to pronounce your last name, so if you could help me with that.
Labor.
Welcome. Thank you.
I'm Abby Labor. I'm the principal at Campbell Elementary and our public and licensed preschool director also here. And I'm very excited to continue my education and learning with a DOSE program at Murray State, which is my alma mater.
Great. Welcome, Abby. Lindsey Smith.
Hey, I'm Lindsey Smith. I'm currently a 5th grade teacher at North Callaway Elementary. I've gone back into the classroom to help alleviate numbers for this year. And I currently have 15 IEPs in a class of 24. So the numbers weren't quite as low as we thought they were going to be this year. I'm super excited. I'm currently enrolled in the DOSE program at Murray State, and I'm excited to be part of this cohort.
Welcome, Lindsey. Thank you. Amanda Noakes.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Noakes. I apologize. I would normally look a little bit better. I got my second shot yesterday and I'm not feeling so hot today. So my apologies. I'm an ECE implementation coach in Jefferson County. This is my first year in Jefferson County. I was an assistant principal in a much smaller district last year. And I'm excited for this next step. It's kind of been in the back of my mind for a while. And then the opportunity came up and I took it as a sign. So I have been accepted to Murray State, and that's where I will be starting my program.
Welcome, Amanda, and I hope you feel better soon. Hopefully the side effects will ease. Next, we have Catherine Tupper Gorman. Catherine Gorman.
Yes, it's confusing. I'm Katie Tupper. My email is still going to say Gorman, so I have not gotten all that figured out in JCPS. So I work as an implementation coach in elementary school. And I'm very excited about this opportunity. I was looking at programs to continue my education the night before we got the email for this LEADS grant. So it was like when I woke up, it was meant to be. So I'm very excited and thank you for the opportunity.
Welcome. Thank you. Amy Howard.
Hi, sorry. I've been trying to find a place in my home that I didn't wake everybody else up. I have 3 kids, so they like to sleep. I'm with the Pike County school system, and I've been in special education for 19 years now. And I'm currently in the DOSE program at Morehead State.
Welcome. Thanks, Amy. We're going to loop back around to Stacy. She said she's worked out her technical difficulties.
I am so sorry about that. I feel like such a goober. It's like when you're in school and you know that the teacher's going to call on you to read in 4 different paragraphs and you're like going down like, oh no, I can't get it. So I'm so sorry about that. My name is Stacy Hutchison. I promise I'm not always as spaced as I just was. I am the MSD teacher at Glasgow High School. I will be starting my Director of Special Education degree at Western. I am a Western girl. That's where I got my bachelor's, master's, rank 1, and now I'm actually teaching the graduate class there. So I'm really, really excited to come back home for that.
Welcome. Thank you, Stacy. Allison Nelson.
Hey, I'm Allison Nelson. So I'm a school psychologist at Clark County Public Schools. I am also very grateful for this opportunity. Like many others here, I had thought about it. It had been in the back of my mind for a really long time. So whenever I received the information, I thought this is definitely a sign an opportunity has opened. So I took that. I will be pursuing my DOSE through Morehead State.
Thank you, Allison. Welcome. Krista Taylor.
Hi, I'm Krista Taylor. Right now I am a district resource teacher for JCPS, particularly for high school, and then kind of the emphasis in low incidence right now. I'm formerly an MSD teacher, very passionate about our low incidence students. Looking forward to this. I feel very honored. Looking at possibly Western or Murray, both of them are my grad and undergrad, so I love them both very dearly. So looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Krista. And last but not least, we have Misty Carr. Okay, it looks like Misty is not on with us at the moment, so we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to meet you guys face to face. I did have the opportunity to read your applications and look over your resumes, and as Greta said, it was such a difficult decision to make, and I'm so very excited to be here working with you guys today. So thank you for taking the time to introduce yourself. Next, we're going to work a little bit with Kathy Anderson. She's going to show us how to use Padlet. Kathy, are you? Oh, I see you.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to meet you. Thank you for those introductions. So I imagine many of you have used Padlet before, but if you hadn't, I'll give you just a quick run through. It's really easy to use. So I'm just going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, somebody just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Thank you so much, appreciate that. So again, my name is Kathy Anderson. I'm the Gifted Education Program Consultant at the department, and I'm really glad to be here and to be a part of this work. Very exciting to meet all of you this morning. So first of all, a little bit about Padlet. I can get my thing to move. Padlet kind of reminds me of a parking lot. You know, those parking lots we used to use at PDs and stuff where you took your sticky note and you put your message up in the parking lot. It's kind of a digital form of a parking lot, and it works kind of in a similar manner. So what you do is you have a wall, and down in the bottom right-hand corner is a little plus sign. Do y'all all see that? Thumbs up if you see the little plus sign there. Some people are like, whenever we talk about it, it's like, where is that plus sign? So there it is. It's down there in the bottom right-hand corner. And once you click on the plus sign, then it will bring up a little sticky note type of thing. And what you can do is we'll want you to, of course, write your name first and last. That'll be great. And then just write something about yourself there. I know some of you have shared some things about yourselves already. So exciting that you guys are heading back to school and also being part of this grant. You guys are busy. And then somebody was coaching basketball this morning. What in the world? Y'all are some busy folks. So anywho, back to Padlet. It's pretty simple to use. I'll just minimize this here for a second and show you the screen if I can real quickly. Got all these things open this morning, good grief. Sorry about that. So again, this is Padlet, and like I said before, here's the plus sign down in the corner. And once you click on that, it's going to bring up like a little sticky note here, and you're going to write your name where the title is there, and then I'll give you some suggestions in a second about some things you can write if you hadn't thought about anything. But there's also some other types of tools down here. One that I think is really cool is this link. And as you can see in the one that I've done as an example over here, I've given a link to the Gifted and Talented Resources page. So if you want to link, you know, your district's web page there, that'd be a cool thing to look at if you want to do that. Or if you want to add a picture, you can add a picture. If you're like me and you mess up with your spelling, over in the right-hand corner are three little dots or ellipses there. You can click on that and you can edit your post, or you can be all super fancy and add a color to your post-it note if you want to. I made mine blue after looking at all the different colors. I love colors. Colors are great, aren't they? So that's a few things about Padlet there. So let me just go back and share the link with you. And I'm going to put the link, I'll put the link in the chat, or you can take your phone if you got your phone with you, and you can go to the camera mode and take your camera and hover over it, and it'll, you know, come up with like little boxes around the QR code there, and then you can go to the Padlet there. But let me also share the link here in the chat with you as well. And if you've got any questions or anything like that, feel free to put those in the chat. The chat looks kind of like a little bubble up in probably the right corner of your screen. So I'll give you couple of seconds to get over there to Padlet. And then once you get there, if you just kind of give me the thumbs up so I know that you're there. How's it going? There we go. Abby's there. Good deal. So how are we doing? Are we getting there? Everybody all right? Here's some questions that you might want to answer. You know, of course, your first and last name, that's always a good thing to put on anything, right? We tell our kids that all the time. Put your name on your work, right? You might want to tell us what district you work in, what your roles are in the district, how many years you've been in education. You know, what do you hope to learn from this experience? Maybe something about you that people don't know, you know? So I think I saw somebody's hand go up a second ago. Becca, did you have a question?
Yeah, that's mine. Do I need to sign in to use this Padlet? Oh, I see someone else asked this too. Do we need to sign in?
I may need to change some of the, what do you call it? The permissions on here.
Oh yeah, the
Let me just
settings.
see about that. Let me just see if there's something I need to do about that.
There are a couple of comments that said they're not seeing the plus sign to edit, and that's because you'll need to log in. I think Kathy's working on fixing that right now. But if you'd like, I was prompted to log in. It gave me Apple or Google, which it looks like it's free. Yes. It's free to log in and create an account.
Right. Well, I'm looking for, you know, if there's a way that you have to change this up.
I'm looking with you, Kathy.
I think I'm actually logged in and I'm still not seeing the plus sign.
Yeah, if you go to the top where it says share, I think if you click on that, it might give you permission options.
Okay.
I think that's where you do it.
All right. I've changed the permissions. See if you can refresh your screen now and see if you're able to use it. I apologize for that snafu. Are you able to log in now or able to access the Padlet now?
No, I'm still not seeing the plus.
Okay. Well,
I'm not seeing it either.
Do you see where it says visitors can read? I think it needs to say visitors can edit. Under
visitors
the
can
privacy.
read. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I see where you can change the privacy of it, but I'm not sure about the sharing part of it. That sharing part is grayed out for me. So we may need to come back to this later, Becca, until I can figure out what's going on.
That sounds good. We'll give you a few minutes to see if we can change those settings. Thanks for everyone for offering suggestions on how to help.
Yep. Sorry about that. I haven't had that happen before. So
no worries.
Right.
Thank you, Kathy.
Sure.
We're going to move on to the Kentucky Leads overview, and I would like to introduce Pete, what is your official title?
Well, the official title is project coordinator, but that's a jack of all trades and only master of a few, so.
Well, our project coordinator is going to lead us through a quick overview of Kentucky Leads.
Yes, it's good morning to all of you. Pete Heckner is my name, and my primary responsibility is to be, I'll say, the first line of attack. If you can reach out to me And I think that was my email is will be forthcoming this week, but it's also on the bottom of the invitation that you received to join us this morning. So I know my last name is spelled differently than I pronounce it, but that's unfortunate. I inherited that opportunity. So as we say jokingly, I hope hope my daughter marries a Smith. So, but it is pronounced like H-E-C-K. Pete's fine. Don't feel the need for formality. And so I'm semi new at this work. I've spent a lifetime with special education, more than you all want to hear about. But suffice to say, I've had opportunities to work in local districts, to be local district administrator, and also I've had 2 stints with the Kentucky Department of Education. And I currently work with our undergraduate and graduate clinical and pre-service clinic here at Western Kentucky University. And so I'm out in class, used to be prior to COVID, out in classrooms, and I'm still snooping via Zoom and other in Google Classroom. So I try to stay relevant in that world. Technology is not my strong suit. We have Becca for that. And I just want to welcome all of you, congratulate you all. And when I was working with the team this week and getting ready, I really felt moved and to speak a little bit about how special you are. And what I mean by that is there are, excuse me, the selection process forced us to narrow down, as Greta said, to 15 folks. That's 1-5. And these were not easy choices to make, and they are significant. And in the fact that I know several of you have mentioned classroom positions currently. And when you stop and think about it, there's over 42,000 working teachers. So we're looking at, almost 8,000, over 8,000 administrators working in public schools in the Commonwealth. So we have here a cohort of 15. So that's a very, very, very narrow pipeline in which to go through. And I was thinking, getting ready this morning, we jocularly say there's only one first. And, we will learn together. We will grow together. And another thought I had was, being involved in a 5-year grant, there's a great opportunity to tweak and to learn from reflection. And we have made, I'll just say, we've made a living as a team trying to reflect and determine and how things that we've done that we perhaps could do differently. And all of the team members that are on this call this morning will talk about the specifics of that. So I want to recognize you all for the leadership that your building or your school district has provided us through letters, through references. Your resumes are stellar. You wouldn't be in this room if they weren't. And we really want this to be organic, and we want this to be very useful for you. I've hung around higher ed now for over 15 years, so I understand a little bit about the system, and the notion of marrying or stretching theory to practice is huge in my life, because as I spoke earlier, I'm kind of the bridge between the ivory tower and what's going on in schools. And I think I'm good at that. I'm not a good public speaker, but I am good at the nuts and bolts, the coaching, the the realities of our work. So I don't I don't want to make many me's out of everybody, but I am suggesting that all of you all are going to have very rigorous work, both in institutions of higher education that you've chosen and as part of our Saturday seminars. So, but we want this to be useful to you from what you hear in theory, from what you've experienced in your work, and then growing that synergy. Yes, as Greta said, COVID slapped us upside of the head. So the notion of coming to a common campus, the notion of hugging each other is not going to happen, and in the foreseeable future. Now, we may wake up tomorrow and, who knows where we'll be. So we want to entertain that flexibility, keep that alive. And so again, a pat on the back, an atta girl and an atta boy, and just, I couldn't be happier to be able to share information, to work with the team that I'm able to work with. And if you can reach out to me, I don't know by far all the answers, but I will tell you that, and I will find a person and connect you with those person or persons who do have that expertise. So don't be shy, and we'll love each other later. That's all I can tell you. So I will pass on the microphone, the podium, and to the young man who has been priceless in my world, and he is the connect. I'm kind of the connection out here in the orbit of the bubble, but Thomas has a real opportunity to connect and network and within the Kentucky Department of Education. So I depend on him to form committees, to make sure, to slap me down with, this is a draft, we can't show that yet, it hasn't been through communication yet. So I'm learning the behavior of how to establish and protect a statewide footprint. So Thomas and the rest of the team that's on this call, I couldn't, it wouldn't work without you all. So truly a team effort. So Dr. Thomas Williams, if you will, thank you.
Thank you so much. You're not going to do this on a Saturday. You're just not going to make me emotional on a Saturday. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
but I believe before
you all.
Yeah, and I appreciate you all.
And listen.
Of course. So before we come to my part, and I'm going to kind of just give you all an overview and kind of what to expect each Saturday, because I know you think like, what do we expect? What are we going to do? Just some logistics and a little house cleaning around the Saturday sessions. I'm going to turn it back over to, I believe, Kathy, and we're going to do the Padlet, and then we'll come back to me and I'll provide that information to you.
Awesome. Well, Pete, I just have to let y'all know, if you haven't worked with Pete before, he is an awesome person to work with. He has a great sense of humor and just really is awesome to work with. So I hope that I see people have been able to get into Padlet. So just once again, I'll share my screen really quickly here and just give a brief overview, but it looks like you've got it. Like I said, it's a really easy tool to use. I've used this several times, and I hope maybe this is maybe a tool that you can use as well. So you just click on the URL or link I put up here in the chat. It'll take you to the Padlet. You click on the plus sign, and it should open up a little Post-it note for you. And I can see all you guys are taking advantage of it. If you've got any problems, just type it in the chat. I saw some folks that just needed to refresh their link or go in and come back out, and that seemed to work for them. So awesome. It's always great when things work in technology, not so great when they don't. So we'll give you guys, I got 10:40 on the clock, so let's give you to about 10:42. Is that good, Becca? A couple of minutes to type in, add a picture if you want. Look at that beautiful family there.
This is the most fun part. I love this. So please, yeah, let's take a couple moments and get personal. Let's share a little bit about ourselves. This is great. Thank you, Kathy. I love
Sure.
this.
I wish I had some music to play. I just got a Google Nest. I guess I could say, hey, Google, play some soft jazz and see if you could hear it.
This morning, I love music. It is just how I connect with the world and with myself and with everything. It's magic to me. And Thomas asked, he said, why don't we play a little bit of music while the scholars are waiting for the meeting to start? So I got on Spotify. You can literally find a genre and a mood for everything. I did a search for workplace chill and all different kinds of stations came up. So. I love music. I'll add that to my Padlet.
Yep. So I've got some soft jazz playing. I don't know if you can hear it or not through my microphone. I got 10:42. Does anybody need one more minute? See some shaking of the heads. Okay. All right. I'll turn off my music over here. Hey, Google, shut off the music. And I'll turn it back on to you guys. And I hope y'all have a great rest of the day. So nice to meet you guys through lovely Teams and also through Padlet. I'm looking forward to reading all your little posts there. So have a great day, and I hope to see you again soon.
Kathy, thanks for joining us on a Saturday and working with us.
Glad to do it.
It looks like everyone is introducing themselves. I love this. Thank you. Feel free to continue to work with the Padlet over the next couple minutes. We're going to go ahead and move on, though, back to Dr. Thomas Williams. Thomas, are you ready to move forward, or do you want to wait another minute?
No, I am. I think we can go ahead and move forward. Thank you, Becca. Thank you, Kathy, and everyone who has presented thus far. And so before I get started, I do want to let you know that my pronouns are he, him, and his. So I did want to let everyone know that, and to congratulate you all. You all are our inaugural cohort. Which is absolutely phenomenal. We're so happy that you're here, and we're so happy for you, taking time out of your schedule and your lives to be a part of this great opportunity. So I'm just going to do a little house cleaning, and I really don't like to do house cleaning because I know that we're all adults and we're all adult learners. But I do feel that it is necessary to keep the flow and have an understanding of how the Saturday sessions will go. So my colleague. Bill Buchanan will, after I speak, he will come in and kind of talk around the presentations and the topics that you will see during each Saturday session. So again, my name is Thomas Williams, and I currently serve as the policy advisor with the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. Specifically with this project and with this academy, I'm serving as a program support. So I'll be supporting, Becca, Bill, Pete, and you all, of course, in regards to the implementation of the academy. So that's my role. So what are we here for, right? What are we doing? Saturday sessions, what does it look like? So each Saturday, and I believe, and Bill will piggyback, if I misspeak, you will meet in a virtual setting initially from 10 until 12 o'clock. So go ahead and, block off your calendars, but it'll be from 10 until 12. And so Becca will be sending out those invitations on Saturdays. And I believe it's the last Saturday of each month. And if I'm wrong, Bill, please come in and let me know. But I believe we've marked it for the last Saturday of each month from 10 until 12. Now, of course, once we leave out of this virtual platform and we, move back face to face, whenever that may be, it will look very differently. But for now, it's 2 hours from 10 until 12. Today, we are a little ahead of schedule because today we just wanted to serve as a community and just introduce each other and just put a name to a face. So we may end a little early today, but moving forward, please expect to be here from 10 until 12. The expectation is that you all are here each Saturday. And we do know that, life situation comes up, and which is totally fine. So also expect some guidance around how that will look. So in the upcoming weeks, and Becca's going to talk around the technology piece in regards to the home base and where we're going to store information. But we'll be storing all of that information in that home base. And it's an opportunity for us to kind of store everything in one place instead of sending multiple emails out to everyone. And so I think Becca, she's going to talk about that platform. So we're going to store all of the information there. So again, yes, the expectation is that you all are here each Saturday from 10 until 12. Scholarships and tuitions. So we will be uploading information into the home base in regards to who your contact will be at the universities that you are selecting to attend. So we do have a representative for each university that will put you in contact, that will talk to you more about your scholarships and tuition. And of course, they'll vary depending on each individual needs, because some people may have other scholarships. Some universities charge different amounts, but they'll be able to unpack that information and give you all the information you need in regards to your tuition and scholarships. So be on the lookout for the information as we're going to upload that information into the home base. Also, with this academy, there's a mentorship piece, which I'm extremely excited about. So you'll have an opportunity to have a mentor to support you throughout this process, which is absolutely amazing. And so we'll talk about that model and how that looks in the upcoming weeks. So again, I just kind of wanted to give you all just a brief idea of the Saturdays and how they will look. And again, we will be putting information into home base in regards to guidance around the Saturday sessions and contact information for in regards to the tuition and scholarships. Are there any questions for me? No questions? I think I did a good job. No questions. When you don't see any questions, you're like, okay, maybe I was very thorough. Okay, you never know. But, again, I'm here to support. I'm happy. We're happy that you all are here. This is a wonderful opportunity. Absolutely wonderful. And when I think about, as I went through my, educational career, and I still do, I wish that I had an opportunity to be a part of a community and a cohort such as this. So I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to get, to know each of you more, to learn more with you, because I'll be in these sessions with you and I'll be learning with you. So let's look at this platform as colleagues. I'm not the program. What title did I give you? I don't really do titles, right? But we're in this together, right? We're learning together, and we're going to watch how this trajectory goes towards the end. So again, if you have any questions for me, all of our contact information will be in the home base, and please feel free to contact me. But again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to working with you, alongside you. And so now I will turn it over to Bill. Bill will give us just a trajectory and an idea of how the Saturday sessions will look. Bill?
Thank you, Thomas. And I too am excited to participate in the Kentucky Leads Academy. Very much have gratitude for the scholars, your participation, as well as gratitude for my teammates. I want to also share that there are those working behind the scenes. We have a curriculum committee that helped develop the strands, the topics that we will focus on during the academy. If it's okay, I'm going to share my screen and provide you with a timeline and say a little bit more about the the Saturday sessions that we have planned. So that's the agenda. Try again. Thank you.
Oh, as Bill is pulling up his screen, please make sure that that the information that was in your application for as your mailing address is correct, because we'll be mailing. We're going to mail you some things pretty soon in regards to Kentucky Lead, some little goodies. We want to make sure that we have the correct mailing address for you.
Thank you, Thomas, and thanks everyone for your patience. Hopefully you can see my screen now, and share a little bit more about the topics and the strands that will be focused on in the months ahead. So as mentioned today, this is our opening session, and we're focused on an overview of the Kentucky Leads Academy as well as the objectives of the Academy. And then beginning in March, for the next 2 months, one Saturday each month, the last Saturday of each month, we'll be focusing on administration and finance. And so that will include learning more about state and federal requirements. Pete earlier was talking about, that connection between theory and practice. And as we know, there's when you get into special education, it's like an alphabet soup. And there's this array of so much information to make sense of and put it into practice. And so we're going to spend time taking a closer look at that, how to make sense of that from a leadership perspective. We'll also be taking a closer look at data quality and reporting, as well as the State Systemic Improvement Plan. There's an acronym, SSIP. As well as talk about grant writing. That'll also be an important role of a leader, is ensuring that there's grant funding to support the work that you're doing. And then for the next 2 months, in June and July, we'll focus on complaints and compliance. And that will include a closer look at restraint and seclusion law, due process, investigating school complaints. And so we'll focus on that. We'll have content expertise, experts providing us with expertise, as well as opportunities for two-way communication, activities to learn more about these topics. And then following that, beginning in August, for the next 4 months, we will focus on instructional leadership. And this will include collaborative leadership skills, learning more about implementation science, racial equity, diversity, and inclusion. And again, your role as a leader in providing instructional leadership. Following that, for the next 2 months, early childhood education will be our focus. We'll learn more about the First Steps program and the state-funded preschool program, the components of each program, as well as transition from Part C to Part B. And so the focus for those 2 months will be on early childhood. Following that, then for the next 5 months, a very critical feature of being a leader is providing instructional support. And so we'll focus on specially designed instruction, high quality teaching and learning, making data-driven decisions, providing support for special education students, children with disabilities, including low incidence students, learning more about trauma-informed care practices, multi-tiered systems of support, positive behavior intervention systems, MTSS, PBIS, and again, opportunities for activities, opportunities to learn together, as well as to learn from content expertise, experts, their expertise. We will also be inviting national experts to provide us with information, the latest research, and how to put that research into practice during the months of the Academy. Following that, then, for the next 2 months in July 2022 and August 2022, the focus will be on effective collaboration. So we're going to focus on parent and family engagement, partnering with the regional special education cooperatives, the early childhood regional training centers, how to connect and collaborate and coordinate with local partners, and all the components that go into ensuring that you're effectively collaborating, coordinating with multiple stakeholders for the benefit of special education children with disabilities, students, and implementation of their IEPs. And then finally, in September 2020, we will have our closing session. We do anticipate that Academy scholars will be identifying and working on capstone projects throughout the course of the Academy. And we'll have more to share about that in future sessions, but the idea is that you will identify a problem of practice for yourself. Perhaps it's a problem of practice in your school district. Perhaps it's related to something you're studying in your graduate school program. And then you're going to use time to develop, taking content from the academies to help develop that capstone project, and then sharing high-level information about it with all the scholars by the end of the Academy sessions. So that's a little bit about the schedule. We'll have more to share. As I mentioned, we have a curriculum committee that will be providing more detail to each of the topics and strands as we move forward through the Academy. I'll pause there to see if there are any questions. Okay. Well, hearing no questions, seeing no questions, I guess with that, I'll turn it back over to Becca. Welcome, everyone, and thank you.
Bill, every time I see the topics of those sessions that are planned, I get excited. I'm so excited to be a part of this and happy that I get to participate and listen in on those sessions. It looks like Thomas has his hand up. Thomas?
I did it right. Okay. You just never know. So I do also want to jump in and say that, again, we want to make this a community. And so think of a name for your cohort. For cohort one, what do you want your name to be? And so, throughout before next month, if you would, send Pete an email and just send out some names, some suggested names that you may want to name your cohort, and we can bring those names back to the next meeting to see what we decide. But again, make it creative, make it fun. Remember, you're the inaugural cohort. Right, you're the first, and you're setting the tone, and that's huge, right? Because you set the tone for future cohorts. So think of something that other people would definitely want to follow. So I did want to jump in to say that. Thank you.
My suggestion is the Kentucky Leeds Panthers. That's from my alma mater. And my high school alma mater. Yes. Thank you, Thomas. I did take a minute just playing around with what Kathy taught us. And since there haven't been any questions yet, I did create a Padlet. And I saw a comment that Stacy left in the chat saying that she didn't really, it was hard for her to focus on what was being shared, as well as work on something that was, asked her to engage in and type. So I did create a Padlet for Kentucky Leads questions. And since we have time, I believe I did that right. Since we have time, I'm going to give us about 5 minutes. And if you could connect with both Padlets, make sure that you have introduced yourself. And if you have any questions at all so far for today about anything, I'll monitor this Padlet here. So let's take just a couple minutes to update. Oh, I see Catherine Cooper. I did it right. Yay, Catherine. Thank you. Or Katie, I think you said. We have a lot of Catherine. So if I call you Catherine or Katie and I get your name wrong, I do apologize. I'm Rebecca. No one ever calls me Rebecca except for Thomas. And I always feel like I'm in trouble.
Becca. I'll say Rebecca, like, call me Becca. I'm like, okay.
Call me Becca so I know I'm not in trouble. But oh, thank you, Katie. Katie says I'll answer to either. So let's take just a couple minutes because we do have time, and populate that Kentucky Leads questions Padlet with just questions you'd like us to address at the next session, or depending on how timely it is, we'll follow up with an email. But let's do that for just a moment. It looks like a couple of things that this team, and I mean our lead team here, can work on is getting a spreadsheet with all the names and contact information. I agree. And that reminded me that actually is going to be housed in our directory. So part of our home base, which is SharePoint, I sent the link in the chat just a minute ago. Thomas had the idea. It's so hard to connect virtually, or actually we're getting better at it, aren't we? But he thought it would be a good idea if we could connect through a directory as well. So if you could send me a picture of yourself and information, I'll share my screen so that you see what I'm in the process of building. If you look up on the screen, you'll see the Kentucky Leads Academy home base. Right now, it's just populated with pretty generic information. It's web information that I found on our webpage. So, but we do have, your view is going to look a little bit different. You will not be able to view like on the left, there are a bunch of document libraries. You'll see that you have a document library that is specific to you. Only you will be able to view that library. Well, you and like me and Thomas and Pete will have access to it, but the other scholars will not. But everyone has access to the directory, which is how we'll be able to go to find information specific. So you can see I have a photo, my name, my company. You can put your district, what district you work with, or what agency you're part of, my email address, and my phone number. So if you'd send that information to me over the next couple of weeks, that would be great. This home site right here, I've already, through this meeting, kind of picked up on a couple good ideas. Stacy has asked that we share the graphic that Bill created that has the kind of the flow of the curriculum. We'll put that in here. I'll share the links to the Padlets that Kathy created and then the one that I created. Right now, it looks like you guys are in the process of adding questions there. Great, thank you so much. But that was just a quick, Thomas, do you want me to discuss anything else related to the Kentucky Leads Academy site?
No, I think that's it. Or maybe we can talk about the individual, like what will go into the individual. I think those are folders on the side, each individual name, what will we place inside of them.
Right. So the capstone projects, I think, will be housed in your document. Those are document libraries, but they're pretty much the same as folders. Also, we're taping, or not taping. I am so 1970s. We're taping today, so we're recording today's session, and a link to today's session will be found in the Saturday sessions cohort 1, as well as the directory. But yeah, in your individual folders, just consider that a safe space for you to share anything that you want a smaller audience to view. So anything that you want, myself, I have access to it. Pete does, Thomas does, Bill does, but the other scholars do not. So anything that, any project that you're working on or any information that has like, just something that you would like a smaller audience to be able to view rather than everyone. If there's anything that we want everyone to view, it will populate here.
Yeah, and also we're going to these, as Becca mentioned before we started, every session will be recorded, and the recordings, we're going to also put the recordings into the homepage. Is that correct, Becca?
Yes, they'll be in Saturday sessions.
Cohort 1.
Yeah, and right here.
So you'll be able to go back and view those Saturday sessions, each Saturday session.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Also, you all, I do also want to make mention that after each presenter, there will be, evaluations, and we really encourage you to complete the evaluation after each presenter, because again, we want to make sure that you're getting what you need, and we want your honest feedback. Okay, so you will receive evaluations after each Saturday session, and we welcome your feedback in order to make this better for you, because we're here for you. Don't forget that we're here for you and to increase your knowledge and your capacity.
Great, thank you. The next part of today's agenda is questions and answers. And you all have already begun to kind of populate the Padlet with questions. But let's open up. I would love to hear your actual voices. So let's open up this part of the meeting. Feel free to raise your hand, use that feature if you'd like, but who has just a burning question that you must have answered right now? Why is the sky blue?
I'll ask.
Oh, thank you, Krista.
Because one of the big things was tuition. Like, how does this work? How is this funding? Is it fully funded? Is it partially funded? So is that kind of vary when it comes to picking the university depending on that tuition? So is there like a certain sum that this is what's covered and then the rest will be up to the student? How does that work?
Yeah, good question. So I will tell you, we've been in conversation with a few of the grant administrators. So again, on our part, with KDE's part, we've distributed the funds to the universities. And from what we're understanding is that every student is different in regards to some students may have other scholarships that they're coming in, to support their tuition waivers. So and so that's why we strongly encourage you to reach out to the grant administrator, because they'll have more information as to your individual need. So every student will be different.
Okay.
Okay.
So is it okay to, if there's 2 universities, applying to 2 universities and then looking at, okay, maybe I'd get X amount here, but then X, is that a possibility or no?
So I think that's up to you, but
Okay.
again, it's so each university, they each credit hour is different in regards to what they're paying, right? So but what I can tell you is that the grant administrator has more information in regards to the tuition. They were all given the same amount, but they look at each individual student. In regards to other scholarships and other things that they may have coming in. Now, one university that I did briefly speak with said that if none of the students had scholarship, that they would just divide the money equally. But again, I don't want to misspeak. We're going to send that information out so you can go ahead and get in contact with that person at the university to find out more about how they're going to distribute the funds.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so I see a question, Grant. So yes, so there will be a point of contact. I'm not sure if their title is grant coordinator or grant administrator, but there will be a point of contact at each university that will be able to speak on the tuition for that particular or prospective university. But I don't know if their title will be coordinator. It may be administrator. And that was a great questions.
Can we pop that into the shared drive to get their names and universities?
Yes.
That might be helpful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So once we get that contact information, all of that information will be put into the shared drive for you to contact that prospective university and the contact name and their contact name.
So I have a question. You're talking about a capstone project. Is that something that we would be working on separate from the program that we're working on, or is it something that's kind of in conjunction with?
So we'll have more to share about That's a great question. And we'll have more to share about capstones in future sessions or between sessions as well. We certainly want it to be relevant to the work you're doing in a school district or other setting. If you're at the region level, if they're working for the department, that it's relevant to your work, that it's and that it's aligned and relevant to your graduate school work towards your certification, right? So, but we want some flexibility too, that it should be a problem of practice that you identify, that you really want to learn more about, and as well as share with the Academy scholars.
Thank you.
And the hope is that at the end during the celebration that you all will be able to present those capstone projects, which will be great, right? And hopefully by that point we'll be able to be face to face, and we'll have just a big celebration, and we can be able to witness your capstone project.
Stacy?
Earlier, you guys mentioned mentors. Will the mentors be from KDE, or will they be from the university that we're attending? How's the mentor work?
Yeah, good question, Stacy. So we're in the process of putting that model together. We're actually looking at other models in other states to make sure that we're putting the best platform on with Kentucky Leads. So that information is forthcoming, but we're looking at several models now in regards to the mentorship. Outside of Kentucky.
Can I jump in with a comment? Not really a question, but just a comment. Just to talk about the I guess it's the overarching idea for this, or maybe it's the foundation, either way you look at it. But the idea behind the entire grant, that we wrestled with for a little bit was how do we create in the state this network of excellence, right, for preschool and special educators? And how do we break down all of the barriers that exist between local districts, regional entities, and state level entities? Because, my experience has been, at the local, you're so ingrained in, the students that and care about, and looking at the data and pushing them forward. And it's all about those students and those families. And that's your primary focus, as it should be. That's who you're working for. That's who you're thinking about. And then when you get, to the regional level, it's about putting those tools and resources in the hands of locals so that you guys have what you need in order to be successful, to make those students successful, right? To push on those outcomes. And then at the state, we're doing the same things. We're trying to get the tools and resources out to regional entities and out to local entities. And it's a bit of a difficult situation, especially in special education, because we have all of these federal rules and regulations that are there for a purpose, right? We know that the IDA creates, I say this all the time, the floor of opportunity. And we know that that's important and it needs to be there, but we also know that's not enough for our kids with disabilities. It's just the basic floor. And then we're charged with the responsibility of monitoring districts to ensure that that floor of opportunity has been met. And then we have to go back at the same time and say, yeah, we cited you, but we're also here to help. And districts have a really difficult time with that, as I totally understand, been there, done that. And so how do we in this group, because you are the first group to help us at the state level think through this, because while this is so much about getting you the tools and resources and support and everything that you need, it's also about creating a feedback loop to the state and to the regions, to how do we help districts be better? How do you help us lead statewide initiatives and efforts? And how can we create pipelines for teacher leaders? You don't have to be a director of special education to be a leader in special education. You don't have to be a preschool coordinator to be a leader in preschool. And as a matter of fact, I would argue even from the state level that it's those people that are in those classrooms every single day. Those are the leaders. We're here to support them. Your local leaders, your regional leaders, your state leaders, we're the support people for the people who are doing the hard work with kids and families. And it's tough. And we're so far removed from actual kids at the state level that we need those people to provide that input to us for here's how you get better SEA, here's how you can help regions be better. So really that's that's kind of the foundation in the way we thought about this grant. How do we do that? And we do that through this two-pronged approach of creating additional directors of special education through these programs with the limited amount of funds that are available in this project, while also looking toward those staff and leaders within districts who don't necessarily want to become preschool coordinators or directors of special education. They are where they want to be and they're doing fabulous work, but how do we help them have more tools and resources in their toolbox? So I think, in thinking about, overall purpose and intent, that's where we were with this. And then to the mentoring comment that I think Stacy made her question a moment ago, while the other folks that Thomas mentioned, they're looking at, the best model we can create. And I'll say this, from personal experience, from the time that I first hit the ground running, which was, looking back to that first year was quite dangerous for me and everybody in my path, right, as a first year teacher. But, the most fortunate events that I've had throughout my career would be to sit among the greats, right? Like the people who are really, really great at those local levels and at the state level, and knowing who they are, identifying them, asking them to help me grow And I continually do that. It's hard to get pushed outside of your comfort zone, but it's necessary. And it's not always people that have, 20 or 30 years of experience. It's sometimes the brand new people who are the most optimistic and eager and energetic. And I've said this so many times because, those of you that, look inside of OSEAL, you'll see that we have brand new staff. And then we have a lot of retirees that come back because I've said so many times that the perfect utopia, if you will, is when you can marry together these folks who have the experience and the history and the historical perspective with the new, fresh, energized minds. And somewhere in the middle of that is this perfect union of, this is what we need to do, and this is how we push on it. And it's really incredible to watch that happen. So my hope is that we can create some type of mentoring program like that, and that we can really find people that you guys can learn from and that can learn from you. And then somewhere in the middle of that's going to be that perfect union of, here's what we need to do to push on outcomes for students. Because at the end of the day, this grant's about our kids. And it's about how do we increase outcomes for students, whether they're at the preschool level or, getting ready to enter post-secondary. It doesn't matter. We still have the opportunity to make things better for our kids and families, and that's why we're doing this. So I just wanted to give you that just as a frame to be thinking about, so you may have additional questions or comments or anything. So I'll stop and just let you weigh in if you would like.
Would anyone like to follow up on Greta's comments? Would any of our scholars like a moment to speak?
I'll say something. No, I really liked you discussing the mentorship and how that is needed more, especially while we're exhibiting through NTI. Our fresh teachers that experienced this, they needed mentors more than ever. And especially when they're a moderate to severe classroom, when they're the only ones on their island. Being a resource teacher, I kind of geared towards, so I was like their little mentor, or, they're therapists for the day, because they need to be able to express that and talk about it and just have someone to listen to them. And I think that's really important, especially for our fresh teachers.
Well said, Krista. I agree 100%.
This is just really, really, really exciting. And I'm just there's just a fire in my belly right now. And I'm really, really appreciative of the hard work that you all have put into this.
I'm really excited about having a mentor again. My first experience with special education was in New York, and we had to go through a huge mentorship if we were doing an alternate route. And it was the best experience of my life. And I am really excited about learning from other people around the state and having that mentor to feed off of.
Yeah, and I'll jump in really fast and say, and that's why we're being so intentional with this mentorship, is because we understand the importance, of having a mentor. And it's so true, Greta, what you just said. I actually had to write that down in my book. It's hard to get put out of your comfort zone, but it's necessary. It's so difficult, right? It's so difficult to move out of your comfort zone, but in order to grow, that's what you have to do, right? And so I appreciate that, Greta, because I have to put that in my forefront, as I want to continue to learn and to grow in the field. And it's just so true. And so again, that's why we're being so intentional with the mentorship model and looking at other states and what they're doing to make sure that you all have that very, very important component.
I thought I heard someone else a few moments ago begin to speak, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone who's had an opportunity to follow up with a comment gets that chance.
Hi. I just wanted to say that right now I work at central office, and there are so many things that I just really want to jump in and do, and things that I see. But it's very, intimidating, I guess, to see all these things and have all these ideas and all these things that you want to do. So to have somebody to kind of run through these things, I think with us will make all the difference when we actually are able to take that position and try to make a difference with those initiatives.
Thank you for sharing that, Amy, and thank you everyone who just who took an opportunity to share your voice. Is there anyone else that would like a moment to say anything before we move on? If not, I'm going to check our agenda. Are there any other questions? We were in the question and answer phase. I see that there are a lot in the Padlet, and I'll work on getting those to the appropriate person that needs to answer them. And I'll try to CC each person that asked that question in that email as well. We'll also, once I get answers to those, we'll also post those in the Kentucky Leads Academy SharePoint home base site. Next, we have wrap up and closing, and next steps for us. So, looks like Josh asked, what are our next steps for? I'm guessing Josh means for the scholars.
Yeah, so good question. So next steps, number one, think of a name for your cohort. That's extremely important, right? And so you're going to send that information to Pete. And so again, this was the initial introduction, just to kind of, to put us in a community so we can see each other, to put a, a name to a face. But after each presentation, there will be different projects that you're going to be, asked to do, or different readings that we may suggest that we'll bring back to the group. So for now, just the next steps, just think of a name for the cohort, send a picture to Becca so we can put that into the home base, and also be on the lookout for all of that contact information in regards to the tuition reimbursements and other things that we will put into home base. Okay.
Yes, Stacy. Stacy asked if the Padlet will be used after today, and I don't know that it'll be used for it. I will definitely visit it over the next couple of weeks. So yes, Stacy, feel free to use that after today. Thomas, I am typing the notes, what you just said, 1, 2, and 3, and you said be on the lookout for contact information regarding
tuition reimbursement is the contact for each university. We're going to also put that in there too. So just make, ensure that you're frequently going to the home base, as information will be updated between now and our next Saturday sessions, which I believe is March 27th. Am I right, BLP? It's March 27th? Okay, March 27th.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the last Saturday of the month.
Yep. Okay. So if there are no other questions, Beck, I guess we can turn it over to Jeremy. Jeremy's going to talk to you in regards to a survey that we would like for you to complete as your exit ticket. Jeremy?
Good morning. I'm Jeremy Pope. I'm an evaluator at the Human Development Institute at the University of Kentucky, which is a university center of excellence in developmental disability. And I work on several projects for OSIL. So some of you, I think I've met before in other professional developments, but if I haven't met you, it's nice to meet you. You will probably get many emails from me over the next year and a half. My primary objective as an evaluator on this project is to help all of the project leads turn in the correct paperwork to the Office of Special Education Programming so that they can keep the money. And so that's one thing they've asked me to do, is to help them be compliant. I'm also going to be working through what we call project measures. So these are measures and data that we collect to make sure that you are all happy, that you are all learning things that are relevant to your practice, that you feel like you're meeting the milestones and objectives that you personally have set out towards getting the level 1 or level 2 certificate, that you're getting the quality out of the mentorship program, that you are feeling like you're learning from your other scholars. And so we'll be doing that primarily through surveys. I know Dr. Williams mentioned that there will be surveys after certain speakers during Saturdays. We'll also have kind of checkpoints, kind of overall, how are things going over the last 6 to 9 months. We may also, we've talked about possibly doing some focus groups near the end of the cohort or right after the cohort ends, maybe checking in with you several months afterwards to see how things are going. Because that information helps those curriculum committees develop new curriculum for new cohorts, but also it helps us, the state, advertise the cohort program, advertise the work, and also gives them the data they need if there are other opportunities in the future to seek extra funding, because we all live in a world where funding is very important, and we need data to show that this is working. Specifically for this morning, KDE is going to give you a link to a survey that I need as kind of a baseline. And it's based off of the conceptual framework of the grant. Let me show that real quick. Okay. So this was kind of our foundational framework that was crafted by the grant writers. So we have 3 goals of the grant. Current special education leaders have increased capacity. And that's going to be done mostly through professional development, webinars, and also through the mentors that are chosen to work with you. We have retained more current special education leaders and recruit new special education leaders, which many of the, I mean, you both of you, the 15 of you meet both of those categories. There's a set of activity-based components that were selected. Leadership practices, national standards, family and parent involvement, empowerment, mentoring, coaching. And this really works in 2 ways. It's the knowledge that you need to do them, and there's the comfort you have in helping others to accomplish it. We all know that working in an ARC committee on an IEP, that there's a certain level of knowledge you have to have. There's a certain level of comfort you have to lead one, but that's very different than trying to supervise and lead others to do it. And so the hope of through this academy is that you'll learn on all 3 of those levels. The foundational learning principles are, of course, laws and procedures, which are going to be the next few months, contextual learning, collaboration, that it's learner-centered, and that you have time for reflective problem solving. There's times for you to bring up specific things that are going on in practice, to get help from your mentor, from the facilitators, or from your fellow cohort members. And also this is also kind of captured in the capstone project. So it's pretty exhaustive framework. So today's baseline survey is going to ask you a set of questions. It's Likert based, from strongly disagree to strongly agree, about where you currently feel your knowledge on certain topics are, and what your comfort in leading and supervising and helping others to do something currently are. We don't have, we have no expectations. We know that some of you are going to be very strong and feel very confident in certain areas and not have a lot of experience with others. I'm part of the reason they had me come on the call to talk about this is to make sure that you understand that I'm the only person who will see the answers tied to your name. I will never share any of these answers to anyone else. I'll only take the data and aggregate, putting all 15 of your answers together and sharing it at the cohort level. And I'll be sharing that with the leaders of this grant. We may be showing some of that over time to our funder, so that we can show that this is kind of how baseline was. And then at the end of the academy, this is how the 15 of you felt that you had grown. So again, it's only going to be me seeing your individual answers. And the reason that we have to have your name is so that I can tie it from today's baseline to any future times that we take this to show growth. Are there any questions about evaluation or about the survey today? Well, thank you for letting me join your first meeting. It's very exciting to be a part of this. I appreciate being invited to help. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for that. I just shared the link to the initial survey. It's in the chat. And at this time, I believe, Thomas, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to wrap up for the day, but not until you have taken that survey and left some data for us.
Yep, that's correct. So, yeah, so please, that is your exit ticket, is to complete the survey. I'm going to allow the team to say, one last word before we leave. But again, thank you all so much. It was a pleasure to meet you virtually. It's not ideal, but it was still a pleasure to meet you. And hey, I look forward to working alongside you throughout the 24 months. So I'll throw it over to my other teammates to see if they have any departing words.
Yeah, I would just echo what Dr. Williams had suggested about looking forward to working with you and looking forward to learning the exciting things that are going to be happening in your school districts and with your families and with your kids. So you know where I am if you need me. I'm there to support, and as my psychiatrist tells me, I'm reliable. I'm not with that. But I wear that t-shirt a lot, so I'm reliable. Good to meet everyone. Thank you.
That's great. I just want to say first, a huge thank you to the OSEAL team and Jeremy at UK for pulling all this together. You've done a great job. I appreciate each of you. And to the 15 scholars, thank you for your interest in this, and thank you for giving up a Saturday in addition to everything else that you've got going on. And I cannot wait until we're able to actually get in a room and have real live conversations and do all of this together. But for now, I'm thankful that we have teams, and super thankful that we have Becca, who knows how to run teams when the rest of us are struggling. So just again, if you need anything, please reach out to any of us. This group is fabulous about getting back with you, super good about any types of questions, and I'm here to support anything that you may need. So thank you all, and have a great weekend.
Okay, sounds good. Bill, do you have anything before anything to share?
I would just echo everything that's been said. I have a deep felt sense of gratitude for my colleagues and the team, and for the scholars, for what you've accomplished to get to this place, for what you will accomplish through the academies, and for what follows in terms of strengthening leadership in special education across Kentucky. So just great to be a part of this. I'm in awe of the work.
I always like Bill to close us out because he is so very just graceful with his words. So thank you, Bill. I'm going to hang on the line for a little bit, but after you scholars, after you have completed the survey, you're welcome to log off and get to your Saturday and enjoy it. I know tomorrow, I think it's going to rain. Like there's 100% chance of rain for 24 hours of the day. So I encourage you to get out there today if possible. So thank you, but I'll remain on the line. I'm going to take about a 2 or 3 minute break, and then I'll be back and can address anyone that, like if you have issues with accessing the SharePoint site that I shared, we can work through those now. If you don't have time to do that now and you'd rather set up a time to work with me later, certainly reach out and we'll set that up. But at this time, I'm going to log off for just a couple seconds and then I'll be back. But if you don't have anything else that you need to discuss today, then it's your time to get to your weekend. So thank you so much.
Becca, Bill, and Pete, do you all mind hanging on for 1 second, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I need just a minute.
Okay, I'll just talk.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you all.
Bye-bye. Good to see everyone.